Hello, 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 and welcome to the Level Up and Get Unstuck training. We are going to be talking about 6 ways to really break through the BS, make bank without burnout. So my name is Kelly Lynn Adams, and for those of you who do not know who I am a transformational and empowerment coach, business strategist, and podcaster and speaker among a whole host of other things that I do. And why I wanted to put this training together is because I have worked with so many, specifically high achieving women throughout the years. And a lot of my clients have dealt with certain things, right, that they may get stuck. They have the BS hold them back. We're all guilty as charged, right, of either getting in our own way, holding ourselves back from really asking for the sale or receiving, help. And, really how many of us are working around the clock still, right? And have burnt out. I have burnt out several times, one of the times landing me in the hospital. And so I have seen reoccurring themes, and I want to share my framework and some strategies that I use with some of my clients that could help you. So when I say get to that next level without the struggle and the stress, what I mean is that next level for you could be anything. It could be writing that book. It could be, speaking on a TED talk, give a TED talk. It could be, 6, 7, 8-figure businesses, growing them and beyond. It could be maybe finding a partner, or maybe trying out a new strategy that's going to give more passive income, or maybe you want to get healthier. So that next level for you, and for really everyone, it's gonna look different. So what I want to share with you is, like I said, a framework, and it's not gonna be PowerPoint. That's by PowerPoint, because I don't know about you, but I've seen a lot of slides and PowerPoint. However, I do have my power suit on. I don't always wear suits, but today I felt like I'm gonna put a power suit on. And so what I'm gonna be doing is I'm actually going to be sharing the framework. I'm doing it live and sharing it on this board here. So a few things before we get started. I have my notes so I don't forget anything, because I want to give you the goods. I want to give you the strategies that are going to help you move that needle. Maybe you have been stuck. Maybe you have hit a plateau. Maybe you are on the verge of burnout. And maybe you're just sick of all the BS, right? Of year after year, doing all the things, trying so hard, and feeling like you're not getting far enough, fast enough. I've been in that situation many of times. You're successful, and you're successful in a couple things, but maybe it's one of those things that you just can't move the needle, or you're trying all different things and nothing seems to be working according to your standards. So I have my notes, like I said, because I don't want to miss anything, and I want to give you really a framework so you can be prepared and take 1 or 2 tips away from this training. So number 1, I would ask and invite you to really have this time be uninterrupted. Dedicate this time for you. This is an investment in you. Whether it's time, energy, or money, it's still an investment, and you're making. And congratulations for being here, because it's going to serve you in some way. Number 2, I ask you to, walk through the process with me. Take what you need, leave the rest. You do not have to implement every tool and strategy that I give today. I would say 1 or 2 things, maybe 3 things that you can actually move the needle on and are going to take action. Because we consume so much information, but how many of us are actually taking action? So that's where the rubber meets the road, is when we actually implement and take action. Number 3, have a pen, pencil, paper, or computer nearby. You want to take notes. And, I'm going to be sharing, and I'm going to go relatively fast, right? But there's going to be also some things where you're going to be gaining knowledge, but we're going to be walking through a couple exercises that I want you to write some things down. And then another thing, like I said, no PowerPoint slides, death by PowerPoint. I don't know about you, but PowerPoint, I just can't, right, anymore. So let's start out with, I want to start out with a exercise. So I want you to close your eyes, and we're going to take 3 deep breaths in, and I'm going to guide you through a visualization exercise. So let's take the first breath in through your nose, out through your mouth, in through your nose, out through your mouth, In through your nose, out through your mouth. So with your eyes closed, I want you to visualize yourself, and it could be any time frame that you want. It could be 90 days from now. It could be 6 months from now. It could even be a year from now. I want you to envision how you want to feel. And just think of it as a blank slate. You're starting over. This is day one. How do you want to feel in the 90 days, in the 6 months, in the year, or maybe even 3 years from now? What is your ultimate feeling? Do you want to feel free? Do you want to have fun? Do you want to make more money? What is the money going to create for you? Do you want to feel more creative, more expansive, maybe more powerful? So really drop in, and how do you want to feel? The next question is, if you were just to design your life in any way for it to look however you wanted, there's no limitations, no really barriers to success, what would that look like in that time frame? What do you want to create for yourself? And I want you to envision like a holistic life picture. So professionally, personally, are you with your spouse? Do you have kids? Do you not have kids? How much money are you making? How do your mornings start? How do your evenings end? Are you helping people or being of service? And in what ways? How are you doing that? What lights your soul on fire? What are you driving? What are you flying? Are you traveling? How do you want the people in your world to feel around you? How about strangers around you? How do you want them to feel when you interact with them or when they interact with you? So I'll give another minute to really just anchor in. What is your ideal life and vision for yourself look like? What does it feel like? And how are you navigating through this? And just really, whatever comes to mind is welcomed. Feel the feelings that are associated with it. And really allow yourself to go there and imagine. So on the count of 3, we'll open your eyes, or open our eyes. 1, 2, 3. So how was that? So that's just a simple vision exercise that is really powerful for you to do from time to time. It gets you in the state of what you want. Because think about it, as kids, we can play with boxes and pots and pans, and our imagination goes wild. Yet when we're adulting and we grow up, we get stuck with the mundane day-to-day, and we don't allow ourselves to feel and dream and imagine. And because, quite frankly, who has time, right? Like, that's one objection. Who has time to do that? And it's necessary. So you want to create that time and space for yourself, whether it be once a week, every day, once a quarter, whatever that cadence looks like for you, because it's really important to get into that visionary exercise. The second thing before we start the framework is I want to ask you, set an intention for this training. What do you want to get out of it? What would be worth your time? Is it one item that could change your life? Or maybe it's one tip that you're actually going to implement. Like, what is your intention with this training? Do you want to learn something, right? Do you want to experience something? So set that intention now. And even if it's one nugget, will it be worth the time, right, that we're spending together? And I don't know how long we'll go. We'll maybe go, I don't know how long, right? It might be an hour, probably no more than like an hour and a half, if that. So I learned these powerful questions that I want to share with you that I think is so important too. And these are kind of like journal prompts that you can write out, but I learned it from Bob Proctor. And he's a motivational speaker, he's a wealth creator, and he's, one of my mentors from afar, not personally, I haven't, coached with him personally, but I'm a mentor from afar. I have so many mentors that I work with personally, professionally, in all kind of capacities, coaches, mentors, from afar, and also close in my life. And so what I love this exercise and these questions are very powerful. I love what he says. So these are the questions. In this season, right? Whatever you define as your season right now, like I said, it could be 30 days from now, 90 days from now, 6 months, a year, whatever your season that you want to call or label a season, what matters the most to you in this season? And it could be 1 to 3 things, right? 1 to 3, maybe no more than 5. Like in this season, maybe family is really important to you. Maybe your health is really important to you. Maybe making money is really important to you. So in this season, what is really important for you? So I just want you to really quickly jot down, 1 to 5 things that's really important to you. The next 3 questions are powerful because it's going to take you through a process, okay? Number 1, what am I currently doing in my life for the goal or the intention that I want? Because a lot of us, we don't really know what we want. And that's why it matters most of what's important for you in this season. What's the goal? What's the intention? What's the drive? Some people are launching businesses. Some people are trying to get pregnant, right? There's so many different ways and intentions for different seasons. Some people are writing books, right? Like all of the things. So what are you currently doing around that goal or intention that you're setting with yourself? What are you currently doing? And just be aware of kind of your day-to-day, like how much time you're spending, right? The next is what is working that you're doing? What is working? Is it getting up early working for you? Is scheduling time working for you? Is going to bed later working for you, or going to bed earlier? Like, what are the things that are working right now in your life that you feel really good about? The next question is, what is not working? What is something that you need to change? And it could be consciously, unconsciously, subconscious. It could be things that, we're not even aware that we're doing, but we know we're like holding ourselves back. We're like self-sabotaging maybe in some way. Maybe we're procrastinating. So what are the things that are not working? And maybe getting up early is not working. Maybe staying up late is not working, right? So think of the things, and those things that are just not working. They're just not working. And the things that are really working, like you feel alignment, you feel in flow, right? So you can really, that will really help you to your feelings around these certain things. So those are the questions I kind of wanted to open it up for. And you can journal at this anytime, right? Anytime that you need to. And now I want to dive deeper into my framework. It consists of 6 strategies, right? That I want to share with you. I have tons of strategies that I work with my clients. And my clients range from all different types of women, and I work with a few men. And some of my clients the general theme is they're all high performers. So whether they're, female founders or executives or entrepreneurs or celebrities or athletes, they all have that common theme of high performing individuals. And so what I have learned, there's been so many tools and techniques that I have integrated into my life that I've learned from my coaches, from my mentors, and just from over the years, almost like 20 plus years of personal development. And then I've been coaching for about a decade, like a little bit over a decade. So I've learned so much. And so I just wanted to pull some of the strategies and the tools that are in my toolbox. There are so many more, but I feel like these are really going to help, break through some of the BS and make bank without burning out. And, I'm not going to be sharing like this, 10-step strategy to 6 or 7 or 8 figures. What I'm going to be talking about is the framework is going to help you do that, but in a different way. So you'll know when I go through this 6 ways. And so I wanted to share. So this is, we're going to walk through this, and there's going to be some exercise along with this, like some questions I want you to answer. And like I said, even if you take 1 or 2 of these ideas and actually implement them, you are going to see massive results. Massive. One of these strategies my client used, and her life is forever changed. And it was around the first tip that I'm going to give you. So I am going to start drawing. And by the way, FYI, I'm not an artist by all means. So it's going to be messy and it's going to be imperfect. And that's actually one of the teaching lessons. It's not my framework. That's one of the teaching lessons, right? How can you make it be imperfect? How can you do it messy? How can you just get into action and not worry about what it looks like, right? Because so many of us take for social media, for example. Oh, we want our posts and our feeds to look so perfect and branded in a certain way. Yes, that works, right? However, if it's going to hold you back and really like make you procrastinate on that by not taking action, that's not serving, right? So we want to make sure that we're sitting in a space where we're not taking action and we're not procrastinating, and we are taking, imperfect action. Because so many of us get caught up on, oh my gosh, I don't know what to, like, it's okay. Just get into action, right? Because the more and more we do it, the more we build our confidence, right? And it's going to look messy and no one has it all together. And if they do, and this is what I've learned, right? Some of my so put together clients, right? That they have all the boxes checked and, it looks all great on paper. And this was part of my story, is when you dive into it, no one's perfect, right? For so long, I was living like a public success, yet I was a private mess on the inside. On the inside with myself, I was suffering in silence. So I just want to hit that point home of make it look imperfect or make it be imperfect. It doesn't matter, right? We're all in this journey learning about ourselves, from each other. So don't allow the imperfection to hold you back or procrastinate. So let's get on to the 6 ways to break through your BS, make bank without burning out. All right, so I am going to have these markers here. And so you can draw this out. Like I said, I have my notes here so I don't lose track. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw circles here, okay? Now don't laugh. Okay, those are my circles. You can see it, right? So the first tip is all around energetics, okay? So this is really the energy, okay? So it's the energy. So what do I mean by this? And this is really important. So energetic leaks in your life, where are they? What are you consuming on all levels? What are your environments look like? Because the environment you put yourself in determines your success. So are you still hanging around with toxic people? Are you consuming toxic food like every day? Are you watching the news? What are some of your energetic leaks? Do you not have boundaries in place? Right? Are you on your phone just aimlessly scrolling? So it's the energy. So it's energetic leaks. And I want you to really think about it. I want you to write it down of where are your energetic leaks. Maybe you don't have many that are holding you back, but this is directly related to how much money you make, right? So this is the internal work we're talking about. So you can have all the sales systems and strategies in place, and you can definitely make, millions of dollars and have a successful life. However, I know millionaires and multi-billionaires that have still energetic leaks, and they have the leaks. And if they close the leaks up, they can make so much more money, right? So energetic leaks and emotional labor. What is emotional labor? Okay, so it's emotional labor really means like it's a situation where the way a person manages his or her emotions is regulated by a work-related entity in order to shape the state of a mind of another individual. So when we talk about emotional labor, think about it as what is taking up rent or space in your mind. Like it could be as simple as maybe you actually really hate food shopping and it just takes up too much time and all of the things. So what could be, right? How can you not have your energetic or, your emotional labor tied up in that? Well, you could do Amazon Prime, right? You could have someone else go food shopping for you. And so that's what I want you to start thinking about is where in the areas in your life that you're doing things that you really don't want to do, that you can ask for help in, or you can free up, right? It could be quicker or easier. And sometimes the emotional labor is maybe you're having, you're really nervous about having a conversation with someone, so you keep putting it off. And for weeks and weeks and weeks, you just like either, go over what had happened in the past or what you're going to say to them. So again, that's taking up emotional labor and space in your mind and your body. So we want to be aware of where these energetic leaks and emotional labor are taking place because it's all due to our energy. So, and then the environment. So these are the 3 E's, okay? The 3 E's. So environment, what environments are you putting yourself in, right? What energetic leaks do you have? And then what emotional labor? Like where's your emotional labor? Where is your energy, your beingness, your thoughts, right? Because this is also, where are you giving your power away? That's huge, right? Because we give our power away in so many different ways. And if we could just harness some of that power back, right? And set up the boundaries and the systems. So we want to also, look at that. And these are the 3 really important buckets. And so what I also like to tell people is take some assessments. I've had, and some of the assessments may not resonate with you, but I'll tell you some of the assessments that I have done to just learn about myself, like how I interact in situations, what kind of leader I am, what kind of person I am on a spiritual energetic level. And so I've taken the Strengths Finder, the Gallup Strengths Finder assessment. So it's the Gallup's Strength Finder assessment. I've also done Human Design and then the Enneagram. So those are just some assessments, right, that you can do to learn more about yourself, because it's so important to just learn about yourself on all different levels. And listen, this may not resonate for you, but for those of you who it's resonating for, take it in, try it out. And it's really like the test, tweak, polish, right, kind of situation. So these are the three E's, okay? Now, the next is the S's, the 2 S's, okay? So this is all about self, okay? Self. So the 2 S's. So self-sabotage and self-doubt or imposter syndrome. We hear this word imposter syndrome thrown all around. And generally it's the act of, who am I? All of your accomplishments don't mean anything. Am I good enough? Like all of that. Can I really do this? The doubt and the fear that creeps in. So when we talk about self-sabotage and self-doubt, where does this play out in your life? Where are you procrastinating? Where are you not taking action? Where are you holding yourself back from opportunities that you may be totally qualified for? They did a study about men and women, right, applying for a job. And, sometimes the man will not even, be really 80% qualified. He doesn't need to feel 80% qualified. Maybe he feels 40% qualified and he applies For the woman, she needs to feel at least 80% qualified or 75% qualified before she even applies for the job. So this is where we get the opportunity for, where are we self-sabotaging ourselves? Where are we self-doubting? Where are we not stepping in? So you know those areas in your life where you are. So how can you go about overcoming this? Now, for some people, it's radical and they can overcome it like overnight. Other people, like myself, I need to chip away at it, right? And it's a daily practice. So what can you do? Two things, okay, especially for imposter syndrome and self-doubt, is you're gonna wanna make a brag and boast list. A brag and boast list. What does that mean? It means you're gonna list out every single thing of all the accomplishments that you can remember, even if it was like when you were 3 years old and you did a painting and you got an award for it, okay? Like, go there. So you wanna do that brag and boast list, because what that does is that it racks your brain to find things that you were successful at, that you accomplished from however young you were up to now. So that's number one. Number two is to keep the promises that you make to yourself, even if they're small. And I'll give you an example. So let's say working out, okay? If I'm going to say and promise myself, and not even tell anyone, just myself, that I'm gonna work out at least 3 times this week, 20 minutes, and I don't, what does that do? It's the self-trust and the self-confidence. So when you break those promises that you make to yourself, it reminds you that, oh, I didn't say what I said I was going to do. And you didn't have to physically say it. You could write it out, or you could think it and promise it to yourself. So the small promises and the small intentions that we set with ourselves, we want to make sure that we follow through, because that builds the confidence. So it could be literally like, I'm going to walk 3 times this week and maybe only walk 2 times. So what I like to say is, start off small, because the small wins eventually build up to the bigger picture and the bigger pie, right? So whenever, you're going for a goal, you can set out huge goals. However, I know what used to happen with me is I would set these huge goals and these huge to-do lists, and then I wouldn't do half the list. And then it was like this self-fulfilling prophecy of, oh, well, I'll say it, but I can't get to it, right? So really being true to ourselves. So it's like starting off smaller and like, oh, like I can do that. So I'm gonna start off smaller so that you can build up to that confidence, okay? So those are the 3 S's. And the next is ask, allow, and receive, okay? So it's ask, allow, and receive. This is huge, especially with women, high achieving women, and even myself, right? I identify with this so much. Who else here identifies with it? Why we are so fierce and so powerful, yet why are we not asking for help, asking for our needs to be met? Why? We don't ask enough. We don't ask enough. And the second part is we don't allow. We don't allow or receive. For women, there's something there that we do not allow ourselves to receive. And what's there is the unworthiness. Who am I? Who am I to receive help? Who am I to ask for help and bother someone else? Who am I? Right? So this asking and allowing and receiving is huge. So how can you get over this? Okay. And the question is that I want to pose to you, because it's linked to this, to ask, allow, receive. How good can you take it? How good can you stand it? I know one of my coaches asked me one time, how good can you stand it? And I'm like, because I was hitting an upper limit problem, right? Like I was hitting my glass ceiling. How good can you stand it? When things are going well, can it even go even more well, more good, right? Can it even get better than you even imagined? So how good can you stand it? So what you can do, and I want to invite you to do this, right? In the next week, or even today, you practice. I want you to make one ask and I want you to receive something, right? So that can look like anything. It can, you can ask for someone to take out the trash. You can ask, a friend to say, what do you think about me? Like, what are my strong points? And ask like that. Or you could do a big ask, right? And then the next thing is, how can you receive? What are you going to receive? Is it relaxing and receiving the rest that you want for 10 minutes? Is it receiving the fresh air, getting outside and taking a walk for yourself? So I invite you to make an ask and receive either the next day or week, and try it 3 times and let me know how it goes. The next tip is the 3 H's, okay? So this is gonna go in here. I know it's small, but the 3 H's. So what are the 3 H's? Hesitation, hiding, and holding yourself back. We all do it. We all do it. Hesitation is how long do you sit there before you make a decision, before you take action, before maybe you make a fool out of yourself? Like, how are you hesitating in your life? Hiding, hand in hand. How are you hiding in your life? Are you not speaking up? Are you shying away? You know the areas where you're hesitating and hiding. When it comes, and it could be on a daily basis, or it could come, when you have a big project or a big decision that you have to make. And then where are you holding yourself back? Where are you holding yourself? You're self-sabotaging. Again, it's linked to this, the 2 S's. So I want you to think of, where are you hesitating? Where are you hiding? And where are you holding back? Now, a tip here is, when you identify that and when you know you're doing that, you're hiding, you're holding yourself back, or you're hesitating, you want to get 1% better. You want to be either quicker, or you want to respond like quicker, or come out of hiding, or whatever it looks like to not hold yourself back, right? Asking for help. Again, it ties into this. So maybe one of the ways you're holding yourself back is not asking for help. So how can you do that? Well, the next day you can ask for help, or the day of. So I want you to think about, where are you hesitating, hiding, and holding yourself back, both personally and professionally. And this is huge, because what this does is, when we do this, it stunts our growth, right? We are capable. It's just that fear gets in the way, and we have all these judgments about a certain thing, or about how we're going to look, or about how we're going to be perceived, or about, oh, what if it doesn't work out? So the 3 H's. The next one is play, pleasure, and celebrate. So I'm just going to put play in here. So play, pleasure, and celebrate. So I have a quote: the more I play and experience pleasure, the more I prosper. How often are you playing? Remember when you were little, you would play all the time. You would experience pleasure. And you would be celebrating. Like, you could sit, I see babies like sitting there playing with a cardboard box and not with their toys. And they're just having fun. And that's linked to that imagination, right? That visioning that we did in the beginning of this training. So where can you play and experience pleasure more and celebrate? So one of my coaches, he was really helping me with my embodiment work. And his name is Preston Smiles. And he gave me this technique that really has changed my life. And now I use it with my clients. And so what they are, it's called joy alarms. And so you literally set alarms on your phone. I set 3 or 4. And when those alarms go off, I get to celebrate. I get to dance to my favorite song. I get to literally scream like I won the lottery. How many times are we celebrating? And what that does is that opens me up to receiving even more, to celebrate even more. When we play and we're in that pleasurable state, more is attracted to us. More good, more abundance, more money, more whatever you want is good, because it breaks up the energy. It's the embodiment of it all. Okay? So try the joy alarms, or think about what you like to do. Like, what's a pleasure and play challenge that you can do for yourself? Maybe it's, getting a massage. Maybe it's doing things with your partner, right? So where and how can you play and experience pleasure more? And celebrate even the smallest wins, because the universe doesn't hear the size of things. Like, the universe doesn't hear small or big things. The universe just feels energy. So when you're celebrating, it doesn't matter what you're celebrating. You could be celebrating the same way a birthday party as the same way that your joy alarm goes off and you're celebrating for no reason. The body, it's the embodiment, because your subconscious doesn't know the difference. The subconscious doesn't know between right and wrong. So where can you play, experience more pleasure, and celebrate even more in your life and in your business and professional life? The next thing is, how are we going to, it's really the 3 I's. Excuse me. The 3 I's. So how do we want to increase our impact, influence, and income? This is loaded. There's so many ways, right? There's so many ways, like, having seven streams of income. There's so many ways. It's basically linked with who you are being, the inner and the external, right? So you can't sit on a pillow and meditate all the day, right? All day. That's like the inner work. And there's a lot of inner work, the embodiment work, all of that. And you have to take aligned action. So it goes hand in hand. So the 3 I's is influence, impact, and income. So how can you do that? 1, it's like you can show up and be in your power. 2 is like, where in your life can you delegate? Where maybe there's systems that you need to implement in your business and your life. Maybe it's hiring an executive assistant or, some people on your team to help you, because that's the way, right? That will help protect your energy, increase your income. And then how can you be of influence? The way you can be an influence is serving other people and really being in your power and being in your beingness. Not worrying about the competition of other people, not looking at what they're doing, and getting, putting yourself in that rabbit hole and going there. So you want to make sure that you're delegating, and the ways you can do, there's so many different ways, and it depends, right, on your business and on your business model of how you can really influence and create income and create impact. Some people start nonprofits off of their business, right? To really, because that's the way they want to impact and create impact. Some people just speak on stages and that's the way they create impact. Some people volunteer, that's the way they create impact. So how does impact look like for you in your life? And also, how does influence? Influence and impact are very connected. So when I say influence, how are you influencing? And this is really important. Like, it doesn't have to be these huge, massive goals. Like, how are you influencing the people around you, your family, your friends, your peers? Because that influence starts there. Influence also starts with ourselves. How are we influencing ourselves? And back to what I said before, it's like, what are we consuming on all levels, right? Eating, watching, listening to, like, so that is also how we influence ourselves. How are we influencing others on, a community scale and even on a larger scale? You're influencing every day. If you're posting on social media, you're influencing in some way or another. So, and then the income piece is, how do you want to create income? There's so many ways to create income, but what is going to be aligned for you? Some people do products. Some people, do services. Some people have a brick and mortar. How are you going to increase your income, and what are the different ways that feel aligned to you? You could write books for a living, right? You could walk dogs for a living. You could do so many things. You can make money off your money, right? Investments. There's so many ways. So the key point here is to really delegate, be aligned, and look at your side of the street of how you can do it with yourself, because there's no cookie cutter way to increase all three of these. It really is very personal depending on where you want to be, who you are, and what you feel aligned and called to do in the world. So there's different strategies and tools that fit into all these three. And these are the questions that you want to ask yourself, right? So that is the 6-step process where you're really not burning out. Because if the burnout and the making money and increasing your income and getting through the BS, it's all linked. And it's all linked to how are you treating yourself, right? Physically, emotionally, mentally, your well-being, and all of these tips. If you're doing all of these tips, and what I will say is, whenever I've increased my income, I have hired a mentor or a coach, or I invested in myself, bottom line. So where can you and where do you want to focus on? Like I said, it's a lot of information. And even if you took one tip away from this training, I'm telling you, the magic occurs when the rubber hits the road and when you take action. So you could do one challenge. You could do the pleasure and play challenge. You could experience pleasure and play for the next 7 days. And I promise you, something will shift. Something will shift personally and something will shift professionally. So we want to just hone in on, that's why it's so important to get very clear. And listen, you can get clear about something and you can change your mind in 90 days. However, I would invite you to get clear on something or 1 to 3 things and focus on those things. And what is going to move the needle to your goal, to your intention, to your desire. And does any of these fit in that you know, oh, I need to focus over there. I need to focus over there. So those are the 6 ways. And some, there's so many more strategies that I can go in to. And I just wanted to give you a little bit of a taste of some of the strategies that I use myself, that I use on clients, depending on where they're at and what they want. So again, there's like no cookie cutter approach. However, there's so many other more strategies, but I wanted just to give you like a taste of some of the things that you can implement right this moment. That's really easy. So, well, it's easy, but it's not, right? Like it's how do you want it to be easy? And that's the other question, because this stuff is easy in theory. However, when you put it into action and you embody it and you actually do it, there's another level, right? Because like I said, we can consume all the information. Google is the new MBA. And we get bombarded constantly now with technology, with all this information. And the question becomes, what are you doing with all this information? Right? What is the cost of inaction? And think about that question. What is the cost of inaction to you? Is it, if you don't take action, will you be in the same place that you are in, 3 months, 6 months, a year from now? So I always like to ask that question, because if you don't take any action, where will you be? And some people are like, I'm totally fine with staying where I am. And that's totally awesome, right? And some of us, the high achievers, you're not fine with it, right? You want to be constantly growing, because there's that quote, right? If we're not growing, we're dying. So that is what I want to leave you with. My final words is this. You were drawn to this training for a reason. Your goal, your desire, your intention, whatever that is in your head and on your heart for a reason. So that means really only you can do it the way you can do it in only your unique selling proposition way. And really listen to that. Don't ignore that. And have patience. Because a lot of times we're so used to living in this Amazon Prime, Venmo world that we want things fast. And what I've seen, especially with high performers, they're very successful, they're very with it, they have success, they've experienced success, and they want things fast. And so being patient with yourself, being patient with the process, following the fun, all of that is linked. So how can you be more patient, more understanding, give yourself more grace and ease and permission to be where you are and take imperfect action and stay in the process and have fun in the process. And just know that everyone has different ideas. The ideas that you have are uniquely coded to you because you're the only one that has them, right? Higher power, God, whoever you believe in, put them there for you and only you to take action and birth them into this world. The way that only you can. So there could be 1,000 other people or millions of other people that do the same exact thing that you do. And not everyone, right? You're going to have unique people that are only going to hear your voice, only going to resonate with your energy and your vibe. So keep that in mind. And then also, I want to hear, what is your biggest takeaway from this training? So the second thing is too, I want you to sign up for my newsletter. So go to kellylynnadams.com and sign up for my newsletter and message me. Message me at info@kellylynnadams.com, or you can send me a message on social media. And I want to hear, what is the biggest takeaway and what are you going to do? Like, what resonated with you? What action are you going to take? And I want to see, where you are and what really resonated within this. So I want to thank you for your time, energy, and attention. And I promise, if you just take one tip away, it will help you level up and get unstuck. And if you're interested also with learning how you can work with me further or in a different capacity, right now I work with one-on-one clients privately, and then I also have groups that I run. So get into my world, get into my vortex. Make sure you're following me on all the social media platforms. And I will see and hear from you soon. All right. Talk to you later.